I really can't believe that somebody would be willing to part out a perfectly good put together 10th anniversary Terminator Cobra. The car does have a salvage title, and so it's been in some type of accident or had something wrong with it, but it's all complete and it's all there. And I would think that so many people would love to have this car just the way it is, maybe fix it up a little bit, give it a paint job perhaps, but everything seems to be there. The engine's there, the transmission's there. They're selling all the parts, you know, the 10th anniversary steering wheel, all the specific pieces are still there. According to the gauge cluster, it only has 71,000 miles on it. That could be changed, maybe that's wrong, but decently low mileage for a car like this. It's a shame that it's going to be completely off the road. Maybe somebody will buy the shell, that happens sometimes, and then they try to put it back together, and you know, they could probably get it pretty cheap since it's a salvage title car. But it's really sad to think that this car will probably not be on the road anymore. This would be a great daily driver for someone who loves these cars, something that they could drive around carefree, not worry too much about it, and enjoy. So I'm not a fan of the red stripes. They look good with the red seats and everything being a black car with red, but not really a fan of that. Um, it is kind of beat up. You can see the paint's peeling and faded. But overall, it looked like a pretty good car. The 10th anniversary wheels and brakes are still there. Somebody did paint them black. And speaking of the color of this car, being a black car, out of all the '03 Cobras, there were 8,394 coupes made. And out of those, the black ones, there were 2,251. So black was one of the most common, if not the most common color on the '03 Cobra. But if you keep breaking it down, they made 775 black 10th anniversary Cobras, and out of those there were actually less coupes made than convertibles of the black ones, and so there were only 381 Cobra coupes that were 10th anniversary black cars made. So this is one of 381 cars. Now, a lot of times when I talk about these cars being parted out, we do always make sure to suggest the fact that a lot of them could be suffering from super rusty K-members and suspensions, especially the strut towers. The New Edge Mustangs have a lot of possibility of rust in the strut towers up in the wheel wells, and that is becoming a big problem where people can stick their hand clean through it. So the car looks great inside, the car looks okay outside, but if it is a car that's spent a lot of time in a bad climate, it's possible that this one was super rusted out, and it has a salvage title, so people aren't willing to fix it and they'd rather just part it out and get the money for what the car is. Now some people buy these cars specifically to part them out, and that's their decision. Yet I feel bad for these people because they don't seem to care or have the same passion for these cars as a lot of other people do. This is such a special car. Most people would love to have this car regardless. There are so many people out there who have a base model, a V6, GT, even a Mach 1 or a higher trim Mustang, and they would do anything to get their hands on a Terminator Cobra. So I feel bad for the people who do part these cars out and buy them and destroy them when they are still together and could be used. I own two of these Terminator Cobras, and I would still have a use for this car to daily drive it, maybe even take it to the racetrack, have a lot of fun in a way that I wouldn't like to do with my other cars because they're a little too nice for some of those things. And I've made quite a few videos about cars like this that have been parted out, whether they've been Terminators, Mach 1s, Bullets, GTs, other cars, 99 and '01 Cobras especially lately, those have been parted out a lot. And the comments are all very similar. There are so many enthusiasts who say they would love to own that car, that there are a lot of people who have never had one of these and they would love to have one. And they just all say basically the same thing, like who would want to do that to a car that's already there and it's already together, it's already straight, you don't have to do much to it, supposedly. I mean, maybe this one needs rust repair or something, but even at that, I think there are a lot of people who are willing to have that done to the car just to have it and to save it and restore it. And I think that in the future these cars will continue to rise in value and be at a point where all the people who parted them out are going to feel dumb that they made a little bit of money off of the cars, when if they've had enough of them, they could have retired off the money that they could have made off of these cars. Now, I know people are doing this to pay the bills and doing this to earn money to live, so that's understandable. But at the same time, it's very destructive. I think that's destroying things when you could be enjoying them, putting them back together, making them nice. They might argue that you don't make as much money fixing it up and selling it, and it is about the dollars. But there are other ways to make money. This isn't the only way to make money, so I basically just feel bad for the people who do not enjoy this enough to have a burning and exciting passion for these cars, the rarity of them, the story behind them, the art behind them. These cars are just so cool. And so I feel bad that some people are missing out on that and they'd rather just sell it off for parts. And like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of people in the comments of the previous videos who say that. They really agree with me. We're the same type of people. The people who are willing to part these cars out are a different type of people. They're kind of a cold people. And you could be a cold person and a good person at the same time. So I'm not saying that they're bad people for doing this, but I just feel bad for them because they're never going to enjoy something the way a lot of us do. I'm trying to choose my words wisely as I say this because I'm not trying to offend anybody or hurt anybody's feelings, and a lot of people do put things in the comments that say it a little harsher than that. So feel free to say in the comments how you feel about it, but I'm really not trying to be rude to anybody. I just think this is a really dumb thing to do. Sometimes it takes looking at a nice one to realize what this car can be and what the potential of the car is. Here's a stock looking black 10th anniversary with the wheels and everything, not spray painted black and ugly stripes and stuff on it. This is what the car has the potential to be. And I think if you look at it like this, a lot of people would say that's a beautiful car, and when it's repainted and nice, I think this would be a whole different car. So hopefully somebody else can see that vision, and in this case I'm sure this car is already parted out. I've looked at the list. They've sold all the stuff off of it, the mirrors, the bumpers, all that stuff. It's all missing now. So it's really too bad because this car is now destroyed instead of saved, and so that's just unfortunate. But this car has now been documented. People can go back and see these pictures and remember it, and we can know that there was a 10th anniversary black Cobra with red stripes like this that somebody decided to part out. And I think that the younger generations who are interested in this car will like to see pictures of it and get to see the car before it was gone. I'm sure a lot of people would love to see pictures of old Boss 429s, Boss 302s, Mach 1s, Shelbys, all the old muscle cars. If there were pictures of those cars at the wrecking yard before they were crushed, I think a lot of people would like to see those pictures and at least see the car one last time. So at least it's documented here that this was a 2003 Terminator Cobra. Now, best case scenario, somebody will contact me and tell me, because this does happen, they'll say, hey, I ended up buying the shell of that car when the guy was done parting it out. I bought another one that was severely wrecked and I'm going to put it back together. So let's hope that happens. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more Mustang content.